I can't help but feel bad for Dennis Schroder. I know man's rejected a 4-year, $84 million deal, but he went from being a starting point guard on a team looking to compete for a championship, potentially making $20+ million a year, to now being offered less than $6 million to potentially be a backup point guard for the Boston Celtics. It's funny how quickly things change. I believe in betting on yourself, but this is one of the worst cases of betting on yourself that I think I've ever seen. And now Dennis probably just lost $80 million. And now he has to bet on himself again. Still not official if he is going to sign with the Celtics, but that's the only team that I've seen that's looking to sign Dennis Schroder. And that is for less than the mid-level exception. It's $5.9 million was the report. Let's talk about Dennis, man. He's in a messed up situation. Welcome back to the channel. It's Rick Knows Hoops. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. This is a place where we talk about NBA basketball. So if you love hoops, this is the place for you. And Dennis Schroder's in a bad spot. In a very bad spot. Very unfortunate how his situation came about because, he thought he was worth a little more than $21 million a year. His contract that the Lakers offered him was 4 years, $84 million. That was during the season when they were trying to retain him. And he's like, I think I'm worth 100 M's. He said, I think I'm worth 100 M's. And everybody in the basketball world is like, look, Dennis, you're a good player. You're having a pretty good season, but you ain't worth $100 million. I think the Lakers knew he's not worth $100 million. And his playoff performance was very subpar. And I think I'm going to give part of it to he had COVID. He had COVID right before the playing game. I think he came back like maybe a game or two before the playing game. So he was still recovering. I mean, if you had the virus, you know how it affects your body if you do have symptoms. I don't know if he had symptoms or not, but that could have played a part in it. But more of the story, he did not play good in the playoffs. He underperformed drastically in the postseason. Part of the reason why they lost, of course, the injuries too. But he wasn't a good, third option when AD was healthy and when LeBron was in there. He wasn't really a good third option. He wasn't providing anything consistently for them to be able to win that series. So that's left a bad taste in the Lakers, organization. Left a bad taste in Lakers fans' mouths. And, Laker fans are quick to dispose of players if they're not performing well because the expectation in LA is championships. And Dennis was not providing that. So as we all know, the Lakers use all that money that they didn't give to Dennis to give to, all the players that they brought in, the Malik Monks, the Kendrick Nuns, the Dwight Howards, Trevor Arizas. I think a combined of like 8 players that they brought in, they only spent like $15 million. So depth over production is what the Lakers are looking for. Well, depth and production, instead of just having one player like Dennis Schroder, they use all that money to get deeper as a team, which is what they struggled with over the last couple of seasons, was just having consistent depth off the bench, consistent guys that they can trust, and they look to add that in the offseason. I think they did a pretty good job. We'll see how it plays out, when, they roll out the ball and actually play. So, but I think the Lakers did a good job of just addressing needs, and Dennis Schroder was not a part of those needs. And you upgraded from him. You get Russell Westbrook in. Whether the fit is not ideal or not, we'll see how that plays out. Russell Westbrook's a much better player than Dennis Schroder, and Dennis is in a just terrible spot. Like I said, man, I believe in betting on yourself. I believe in that wholeheartedly. I love when I see guys like John Collins, turn down 4 years for $80 million and come back and get a 5-year $120. I love seeing stuff like that. But in Dennis's case, it just didn't work out. It worked about as wrongly as it could have got. It went south so bad. And now he's pretty much down $80 million. And we'll see if he does go to the Celtics on a 1-year deal. I think that's what they said the market is for him, or what he wants to take is another 1-year deal, bet on himself, try and get his value back up. We'll see that. But that's tough, man. Imagine having like $84 and then something happens and now you only got $6. Like that has to be a terrible feeling, bro. That's the best comparison I could use. Like that has to be such a bad feeling. They said that he's in a state of shock because of how much money he's lost. And now he's about to be on his third team in 3 years. Whole new situation again. And we'll see how it pans out, man. I think we'll talk about the Celtics fit. obviously. We'll talk about the Celtics fit. I think Boston will be a good spot for him to try and re-up on his value. They don't really have a solidified point guard right now. I mean, they could play Marcus Smart. You could see what Peyton Pritchard could provide for you at the PG spot. You could bring in Dennis. Maybe bring him off the bench because I think that's what he's best suited for is as, a sixth man. He was almost sixth man of the year. I think that's what his best role on the team could be is being the sixth man. Just a guy off the bench that can control your offense, get buckets, and, make plays for others as well. I think that would be the best role for him, and I think Boston will be a good spot because he won't be expected to do nothing crazy. And Boston does not have championship expectations like the Lakers do. That's why a lot of players fold under the pressure of playing in LA. That's why nothing's ever given with guys because we've seen guys go to LA and just not be able to shoot the ball. Like Danny Green completely fell off a cliff shooting the ball. Kyle Kuzma, when expectations came, his game kind of backtracked a little bit. KCP was very inconsistent. And, Dennis Schroder did the same thing last year. Started off really good, but then once, the pressure games came and every game meant something, he struggled. So Boston does not have championship expectations. They're just trying to be a playoff team. I think that would be a good spot for him to get his value back up, hit the market next offseason, and possibly get, probably not $84 million, but he could get maybe, 15 to 18 million a year possibly. Maybe a bad team will be willing to throw in, $20 million over 4 years or something like that. You never really know how the market is, but Dennis he's down bad right now. Hopefully, if the Celtics do sign him, hopefully that situation works out for him. Not just saying that because I'm a Celtics fan. Hopefully the situation works out for him because I don't like seeing guys lose money, especially when he was confident enough to bet on himself and it just didn't work out. But still, he'll get to play basketball next year for millions of dollars, so I'm sure he won't be hurting that bad. He also be on YouTube a lot, so I'm sure his YouTube channel's bringing in some good numbers too. Hoping the best for you, Dennis. Let's see if the Celtics bringing him in or if another team decides to take a chance on Dennis for a 1-year deal. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up this video, man. I just feel like I had to talk about this real quick because it's something that's, we're a week into free agency, a little over a week into free agency, and he still doesn't have a job. And there hasn't been many reports of teams, taking a look at him, at least, competitive teams. And there's not a lot of money left, so he might just have to settle for that mid-level exception type deal like the Celtics are offering. So we'll see how that works out, but I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'm out.